All right. Very good afternoon to everyone. This is Sudeep, your host from the KTech Center of Excellence of Data Science and Artificial Intelligence. We have come with yet another masterclass session. And this one is again very uniquely placed. It talks about driving innovations with emerging technologies. So basically, driving innovation in the radical times has become an imperative right now, where the entire model of doing innovation has to be rethought. And this masterclass, our guest speaker is Rajashree Rao, Head of Innovation Hub at Rolls Royce. She will be sharing her perspectives on innovation and about the kind of mindset the individuals and organizations should at large champion, and would also encourage an innovation culture within their organizations. I'm looking forward to gain insights into the technological advancements, the challenges of AI, and to learn about the future of innovation. Now, let me talk a little bit about Rajashree. In fact, there is a lot to talk about her, but I'll keep it short, and I want the rest of the time, Rajashree sharing her views and thoughts. So Rajashree is currently the Head of Innovation Hub and Partnerships and Ecosystems APAC at Rolls Royce Data Labs. Rajashree has established strong partnerships across industry players like academia, corporates, governments, industry bodies, incubators, accelerators, venture capitalists for identifying the creme de la creme ecosystem partners to solve the business pain points, which can be scalable for various industry segments. Her focus is to optimize, vitalize, and augment existing cutting-edge technology capabilities, to innovate with the diverse ecosystem initiatives of co-creation, co-innovation, and co-funding, engagement models for efficiently addressing the problems instead of reinventing the wheel. Rajashree champions the strategy she developed called Partnership Innovation Model, which is based on the open innovation framework to drive innovation within Rolls Royce Data Labs. Rajashree is fondly known as Shree, and Shree is globally acclaimed industry thought leader, visionary, advisor, principal consultant, and mentor in next-gen technologies with 20 years in corporate experience across the regions, India, US, and APAC. And Shree brings with her the diverse industry experience of working with IBM, Intel, and SAP, and leading and influencing the technology adoption within Singapore government and the public sector for building the smart city and smart nation initiatives in the APAC region. Shree has been recognized by Thinkers 360 as one of the top 2050 global thought leaders and influencers in AI, blockchain, cloud ecosystems like 5G, AR, VR, and IoT. She has also been recognized as one of the top 100 women B2B global thought leaders to follow in 2020. So with that, I'll hand it over to Shree. And before that, a quick one for the audience. So Shree insisted that we have a question and answer towards the end. So I would request audience to queue in your questions into the Q&A panel. You will see it right under your screen. So key in your questions in the Q&A panel, not in the chat panel, so that we know which are those questions which needs to be addressed. That's a request. And good thing is we are recording this for you. So if at all you miss anything, or if at all we don't have enough time to address all the questions, Rajashree has proposed that she would take care of all that post the session. We'll send in the questions to her over email, and she'll get in touch with you. With that, Rajashree, over to you, and we are looking forward to this session.
Thank you, Sudeep. Thank you NASSCOM for the opportunity, and thank you for the participants for taking time and joining the session. I'm really equally looking forward to sharing this thought leadership and also understanding what are the challenges that people and individuals and organizations are facing, and how we could work collaboratively and take forward the innovation This is the next paradigm shift that's happening across the globe. So
Perfect.
with that, let me start sharing my screen.
Yes, please.
Am I on?
Yes, your screen is visible. Thank you.
Thank you. So first, most important is today we're talking about what it is meaning. We are talking about driving innovation in radical times. In fact, that has been my title of my talk in many webinars and sessions that I have done throughout the year. And one most important thing that I understood is, yes, one is driving innovation. And how are you driving innovation? We are driving innovation, leveraging and with the emerging technologies. Now, so let us both understand what is innovation all about and how do we leverage the emerging technologies, how both are underpinning each other and they are integral part of the growth frontier itself. So what is innovation in your perspective? See, today this word innovation is a very abused word. The reason I say it's an abused word is because everybody can interpret innovation in their own way. Innovation simply means, in a normal sense, if I have to say, oh, it means I have an idea, I have a creative thought, and I can just go and start a company, then I become an innovator. Absolutely not. Innovation is not just an idea, or innovation is not just a thought, right? Please understand, innovation is also the application of novel ideas and useful concepts, right, to innovate technology, product, solution that will transform and disrupt the world for good of humankind. Okay, this is the kind of definition I understand. But if you look at today in the industry, there is a challenge. People think innovation means I have an idea, I'm coming up with a startup, I'm coming up with a product, I'm coming up with the services, I'm coming up with some technology, some solution. Is that innovation? So you need to ask this question. So who is an innovator, and what does this innovator look like? Okay, so in my perspective, an innovator is a visionary who thinks beyond his lifespan and who has an imagination to create something phenomenal and earth breaking, or completely that's going to disrupt the way we live and do things in our life, and gives the world which no one could have ever imagined. His focus is on quality and never on quantity. And innovation also does not mean it translates into direct making money. So innovation is not equal to dollar value. Please understand this. Yes, in the future, that innovation will bring forth a lot of business opportunities, and where your company will be established, you will make money, all that will happen. But in the initial stage, innovation doesn't directly translate to anything that you think about. There is no return on investment in the near term or short term. So one who innovates, I will give an example here, which I love to call out this way, my favorite person's name, and he is Steve Jobs. Okay. Now, Steve Jobs gave the world this smartphone. If not for Steve Jobs, we wouldn't even understand today what it is to, have a video, face-to-face chat, a video chat. And he actually brought the distance closer. Even if you're sitting in US, I could just have a FaceTime chat. That's what's only possible because Steve Jobs was an innovator. He gave the world something that nobody could ever imagine. So he's a visionary. So please understand, a mark of an innovator is somebody who is a visionary, who can think beyond his lifespan. See, he's dead and gone. But today we still live. Apple is because of Steve Jobs. The one thing that I can remember of Apple is because of Steve Jobs. Nobody could have ever imagined something like that. He used his talent. He used his power of being a visionary. And one of the most important thing, if you take any Apple product that they champion, is the quality, the perfection with the way which is designed, which is built. So all that goes into being an innovator. So this is some of the traits you need to understand, and you need to also inculcate in yourself. See, today, one of the biggest challenge I've experienced in last 20 years of my career, the one challenge that I constantly see, and that's happening across organization, is that people do not understand how to come up with a solution or a technology or a product that is futuristic. Everybody's trying to solve a near-term or just a short-term problems. They are not addressing something which is long term. And most important, it is not about what is that you learn from the organization. It is also what you give to the organization. What do you bring to the table? That's the most fundamental question that you have to ask. We all have to wear an innovator's hat at all times, because you have to think creatively, you have to think differently, you need to be able to see through, beyond what you can imagine. You have to have a 360-degree view of everything. You need to take into account different factors. But if you're not going to do that, and if you're going to be cocooned and trying to say, okay, I've been asked to do this task or this job, and I'm only going to focus that, then you can never be an innovator. Then you're not doing value, you're not doing justice to your job, you're not doing you're not giving any value to your job. That is what it is. So we're becoming like a herd mentality. So we follow the herd and we just do exactly what we have been asked to do. You need to be able to think out of the box. This word is always used, thinking out of the box. What does it mean? How can you think differently? You don't have to think in a stereotype manner. See, today within every organization, you have been appointed. You are an expert in your field. Please understand. There is nobody else like you. Or so I have certain set of qualities, skills, and talent. I'm only known for that. But within that, I need to champion. I need to become the subject matter expert, and I need to, specialize in that. So this is what you need to bring. So let us see what are the different types of innovation today, which every organization drives. So there's this 4 quadrant. Now, any company will operate only within this 4, parameters that is there here. Now, let us talk about what is incremental innovation. Incremental innovation means, so every organization does this. It's a standard thing. So I have a product, solution, or technology. There are going to be certain glitches, there are gaps. So every time I do a product enhancement, I release new versions, I'm fixing. The bug fixes is what we call. So imagine, I've worked in IBM for so many years. One of the things we have always done is the bug fixes within a software. Similarly, every company does that. So that is why they keep coming up with new versions, and the release happens so that they address that particular challenge, or they come up with some enhancement of some features, or they ensure that your security is taken into consideration. All those things that happens. Radical innovation. What does radical innovation mean? Radical innovation means it's inside out. So there are companies which is investing exclusively in coming up with some of the product, technology, solution, or whatever that they want to champion within their industry or in any other industry, and give the world something that world has never imagined. Now you can take Elon Musk. Elon Musk is doing a lot of inside out innovation. Example, I will always call out my favorite, the Neuralink company. So they're trying to use the neural networks. It's kind of a small, they're going to inject that neurons within your the brain, and try to stimulate some of the things, the cells that is not working. An example, they've taken the pigs and they're doing the test on that, and that's very powerful. And in that, what did Elon Musk talk about? He's talking about saying today, say example, I'm taking a human example, right? Our brain is programmed to absorb a lot of information. The amount of input we take, we are not able to give back the same level of output. So the information just dies within us. Why? Because we don't have that power. Everybody doesn't have that ability. So these neurons are going to, trigger that ability to give back that output. And that is phenomenal. And they're also using this technology to address problems with people who have Parkinson's, people who have paralysis, so that they can activate those cells, and they will be able to help the patients to be able to walk, to get back their movements. So this is a breakthrough. So this is called radical innovation, something that is inside out. So this is not something which anybody in the industry has ever thought through, but this is what he has come up with. He has done a groundbreaking innovation. This can change a lot of things in our world, and it is for the good of humankind. It's not just, he's not making his company big or minting money from that, but yes, that will happen in the future. Every business will grow. Once people start buying, of course I'm going to make money on that, but that's at the end of the day. That is the underlying factor, okay? But what is he giving? He's giving something to the world which nobody could ever imagine. So I will first talk disruptive innovation, then I will come back to sustaining innovation. What does disruptive innovation mean? Disruptive innovation means outside in. So simple example, Uber disrupted the whole, the whole way of how taxi cab sharing happens. And that was again a huge big breakthrough in the, the transportation industry, if you take. So I want to rent a cab, but today I can do a ride sharing. So it's phenomenal. And I lived in Singapore for 10 years. A Grab cab was a company that was founded in Singapore, and they really did a breakthrough in that. That was amazing. You know what? They came up with such fantastic offers. The ride sharing was very good, and lot of people, like, people who want to also get an additional income, started using their own car and free time to tie up with Grab, and they would ferry people around. That was amazing. It is not about demeaning, oh, I'm becoming a taxi driver. Absolutely not. It's about another revenue generation. It was a revenue model. It was a different, interesting business model. So this is called disruptive innovation. And sustaining innovation means, which is inside out and outside in. So you're balancing. I also want to give the world, what is that something I can come up and disrupt. And then I'm also adapting to what the world is offering as well, so that I have best of both the worlds. So this is how every organization falls under. You have to just figure out where do you want to be. So this is the normal corporate world where how they innovate today. So let's move on. How do we innovate? So what is the method to innovate? See, most important, the method today and the future is open innovation framework. What does it mean? And why should we follow an open innovation framework model? See, today, I'll take an example, say example in IBM, we are creating some of the software we are coming up with. IBM is known for its robust technology and some of its cloud-based solutions, or say it's Watson, different emerging technology. It's known for it. Now, what do I want to do? I want to apply this technology. I want to be the pioneer in say blockchain, and I want to create some of the industry use cases. So what am I going to do? I want to collaborate. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. Can I partner with the ecosystem? Say I want to take up a supply chain and I want to see how does blockchain work in that. So what does it mean? I am co-creating. So it's called partnership innovation model. That is what I champion, which is based on the open innovation framework. You can partner with anybody. Today, NASSCOM is an industry body. You have different center of excellences. You have different competency centers. I can collaborate with anyone on different technology and come up with some kind of a solution product that I can then join go-to-market, or I can also address the business challenge which my organization is facing. So why do I have to reinvent the wheel? So this also means it's expediting. I don't have to recreate. I don't have to reinvent. Can I co-create and co-innovate? That is why it's called the partnership innovation model. And that is exactly what I champion. And today, I think I've already jumped 2 slides. I've already explained everything over here. And why should it be an open innovation model, which is based on the partnership innovation framework as well? It's simply because one is you leverage existing framework. You're not going to recreate. There's no duplication of efforts. Why do we have to waste the resources, time, energy, everything? It's minimal capex. When we bring the best of both the worlds, we are not having a huge investment in capex, right? You don't require too much of capital. And then it's always a joint go-to-market. You leverage co-working space and sell a faster solution to the business problem. And also startups today want to, take this challenge, the baton in their hands, and solve the problems. That is why today, if you look at a lot of companies, a lot of startups are coming in existence. It's not about saying startups are there because that's what today's world is. I want to have a startup because that's a trend, that's a fad. No. The reason why you want to create something is because you have genuinely something to give to this world. That is the most important thing. It's not just to saying, okay, I have a startup because I want to make money. If that is the motto, I am sorry, then you're not innovating. Then you have a very normal view, like how everybody in the organization or everybody in the world are going to look. But there are only some great people. So that is why Elon Musk is I would call him the real innovator. If you take, there are only few people who I can always stand up, and those are the people I look at them as the role models. Today, Steve Jobs is one person. Yeah, Bill Gates was one of the persons from all time. Take the Leonardo da Vinci, though he might not be there, but I'm going to quote this example simply because I was amazed and appalled, awed by what he had created, what he had given to the world. He had 10,000 plus inventions. And please do, I was lucky enough to go to one of the exhibitions in Singapore when they had curated about his, findings and what are the things that he had built in his lifetime. And in that, his entire inventions was written in, mirror image, which means I have to hold in the mirror, then only it'll look straight. And not just that, he had made a prototype of all those inventions. Can you believe what kind of a brain? Plus, he was a mathematician, he was a scientist, he was an artist, he was a painter, he was a sculptor, so many different things, which means he didn't give himself a break to innovate. And that is innovation. So please think differently. Think always out of the box, because if you want to bring value to your company, you need to demonstrate what you are worthy of. That's very important. It's not about just saying I'm coming here to code or my job is in analytics just to think like this. No, as a data scientist, you have to think out of the box. What can you do different? So, and most important, why should you restructure and reconstruct when you in the model of innovation? Why do we need to do that? See, today, another challenge that I have is when I work some of with the startups and I get very frustrated, let me tell you, or some of the technology players or partners, they always say my solution is the best. There is no other solution. This is the only solution. You have to use this application. It does this, it does this, it has got all the benefits, it will solve all these problems. Okay, are you telling me that my legacy system that is there in the organization, which I have developed, that's my secret sauce, is no longer good enough? So that's the biggest mistake that the partners also do. And the reason I'm calling this out is that when you in the future go to any organization and say, I want to address the business problem, first you need to understand the legacy system, which means it doesn't mean that, whatever you're innovating is the best and then the legacy system doesn't hold good. The legacy system is what you have to do is we have to adapt to the current times and the future, which means you need to retrofit it. So figure out what can be changed and what can be retained, the secret sauce, the fundamental or the foundation on which it was built, and then remove those aspects which no longer fits into today's business scenario or for the future business scenario. And then you need to fit it in. That is why I always say, whatever you develop, your solution has to be interoperable. And if your solution is not interoperable, then there's a huge problem. And then the most important thing is it has to be scalable. Means if you can address my company's business problem, that means this problem is an industry at large. So I should be able to do a joint go-to-market and go to industry and see which are the industries that can leverage my solution. And most important, it has to be inclusive. It can't be exclusive. So these are the 4 important elements that you need to take into account when you're trying to come up with a solution or propose a solution to any of the businesses today. And this is a classic challenge that I have experienced across my 20 years working with the customer, whether it is in Singapore, whether it is any other region. This is a standard problem that exists. So how are corporates innovating today? See, I'm calling out a very different company, SpaceX. I took SpaceX. Why am I taking SpaceX is because SpaceX, with its Starlink, it's a company called Starlink. They have come up with something phenomenal. They have sent these satellites into the orbit and want to give internet from the space today. And what does it mean? Today, that means I will be able to have the most high speed, internet. Gaming can be done just like that. You can stream a video in seconds. It's not even in minutes, it's going to be in seconds. And which also means every rural village in India will have high speed internet. And urban speed is like, oh my God, that is what they are envisioning. And so this is what we have to. And if you take China is way ahead of this. They have already sent the satellites. They are already into exploring 6G. They are, we are talking still in 4G, 5G. That's where we are. But China is way ahead in the game. So we all have to evolve towards becoming futuristic. Google just yesterday they have a phenomenal breakthrough in using their AlphaFold, which is the algorithm that came up with for in the field, in the healthcare field, the proteins. How does the proteins fold? They came up with some breakthrough which has not been possible in the medical science industry in the last 50 years. So this is the paradigm shift that the industry is having, leveraging the emerging technology. So AI, please understand, when I say AI is underpinning every other technology. AI powers every other technology, the way we work today. But AI has its own challenge. But and most importantly, AI is doing a phenomenal breakthrough, especially in the healthcare industry. And I'll talk about that. And the next, NVIDIA. NVIDIA also came up with something called Mono. I'll talk about what NVIDIA does. And today I'll come back on that in the next slide. But in this context, I'm talking about NVIDIA coming up with a very interesting platform. It's called Metaverse. And now I think they've come up with a different version called Omniverse. What does this platform do? You know what they did during when we were in the lockdown, and thanks to pandemic has actually enabled digital transformation, which never happened before. But every corporate has, expedited his implementation of digital journey, and that is phenomenal. And the advancement of technology has skyrocketed in the last 8 months. That is really amazing. So NVIDIA recently, I think 4 or 5 months back, they had a GPU technology conference. In that, they announced this platform. And in that, what this platform does, see, today the future is going to be a hybrid model of work culture, which means I might not go to work all the 5 days to physically to office, but I can choose to work from home, plus I can go to office when need be. So that's the hybrid culture we are actually going to be adapting to. Now, in that culture, what it simply means is, even whether I'm working from home or at office, I should be able to do my work without any obstacles. Which means, say example, so they came up with this the Omniverse platform. What it does is it gives me the three-dimension view to, if I'm so I'm designing, say example, in a car. Okay, I want to use the CAD technology to ensure that I'm having the same look and feel as I am physically sitting in a car and experiencing this design. So this platform offers that to you. So which means I'm not losing that experience or the same level of details when I have to work on designing that particular car design. How does the interiors look like? How should the infotainment system, where should it fit in, whatever you're designing, right? So that real-time experience I'm able to get leveraging these platforms. So how is this possible is because today they are using all of these emerging technologies. It has opened up a universe of opportunity for us to definitely make it happen. The science fiction like Matrix or whatever movie you might have watched, you might thought, oh, those are all very unreal. It's just a movie. No, the world is actually heading towards that. So that is what the innovations are and how the corporates are innovating today. And it's no longer saying I need to, and another very important point, right? I need to, have a master's degree. I need to have a PhD in specialization. But today it's all skill-based. How much, like IBM in the US has invested in some of these top universities where they are more looking at when you come back after 4 years of education, you need to be professionally skilled in a particular, say, data science, or they are looking at data analyst. So they are only looking at you getting the degree, which is going to enable you to become an expert in that field. So skill-based training is what we are looking at. So that's why they say about upskill, reskill, you name it, So you have to be relevant, you have to be futuristic. That is how the world is adapting, and every corporate is looking for a talent who can bring that to the table. So the next very important element over here is how emerging technologies are shaping the future of this world. Yes, I've already started in my previous slide, but I'll continue. I want to really talk about some of the industry use cases and the case studies. So what are the technology advancement and challenges in an artificial intelligence today? If you look at, I'm sure you must have already heard about GAN, the generative adversarial networks. It's amazing. Again, what does it do? Simply, it does this. It's spitting of two neural networks, and one is generating say images till the disruptor says, okay, one is a generator and one is a disruptor, and the discriminator. So it says, oh, this is fake. So it keeps generating an image, and the discriminator says, no, this is not real. This is not real. Till the point the algorithm generates an image, though it is fake, which makes it appear real. and the discriminant agrees to it. What does it mean today? That it's like it's producing data on its own. It's unstructured learning. Unsupervised learning. So that's amazing. So we are evolving towards a journey where the unsupervised learning is possible, and the algorithms are made to generate new set of data. That's a breakthrough. And who's implementing this particular technology is being heavily implemented. If you take China, China has a phenomenal and a massive surveillance system across the globe. Nobody in the globe to date has implemented such a surveillance system, which means what? It's tracking the facial recognitions, right? Wherever you're going. So and most important, what is the advantage of doing this? There has been a lot of privacy, not privacy, I mean, they have been able to eliminate different issues that can happen in the industry. Like example, you might have crime rates have reduced, thefts have been reduced, too many different things which is connected in the criminal world. All that has been reduced significantly, and thanks to the surveillance system that they have implemented. It's massive. You can go and Google some of those videos that talks about how China has leveraged AI and facial recognition technology, and implemented literally, like, nationwide implementation on the surveillance system. That is massive. But the question was, what happens to the data privacy or security? Look, rest of the globe is bound by that, but in the Chinese world, the peoples are ready to, it's okay, because the way they look at is, look, I'm going to have a safe, my life is safe. It's helping me have a lot of safety measures. So I don't mind if some of my data, my personal data is being used. So the way they are looking at is different, how they are considering to adapting some of these technology and the systems, right? So that's one of the advancements that I can really talk about. The next one is, if you take today the OpenAI, that's one of the companies founded by Elon Musk again. So they have come up with something called the GPT-3 and GPT-4, which is the latest version. So what does it do? Today, you want to write a story, you would have to sit and think over, and you're just having your creative juices flow and coming up with some solution, or some kind of a storyline, and you create a story. Now today, this OpenAI it's something like a search engine, and you say, I want a story about this. So they do a lot of pros and cons. They kind of go and see what are the different options, and they use the algorithms to come up with different characters, and create so many stories that you want in different possible ways. It's unimaginable. But what is making it happen today? Yes, the technology, the emerging technologies are making some of these things possible. So you can say, okay, I need a story, a romantic story, that gives you permutations, combination, and give you different kinds of variations in a romantic stories. So this has come about. So you don't even want to, today you say, okay, I need a story, so that it gives you, and in that, what you can do is you can use your human intelligence to add flavors to it, and take that and make a story of your own. That is the advancement and breakthrough we are seeing. But are we saying that AI is there yet? No. See, the challenges still exist in an artificial intelligence. What are the challenges? And this is something I'll really like to call out. See, the algorithm is programmed by us human beings. So it is programmed either by a male or a female. Now, how I think versus how a male thinks, of how a man thinks and a woman thinks, are very different. Now, the way I will program is based on my own thinking. So what happens is I'll give you a classic example, right? Take the example of LinkedIn or Facebook. Today, the moment I'm browsing the news feed, the algorithm is trying to learn me, okay? And when I stop at, say, I'm just going and looking at a post says, oh, Ambani is the richest man, or who, something like that, or Ambani is daughter's wedding. Now, that is not the post I really want to go through, but I'm just looking because that's what is happening currently. And I stop there. But the algorithm thinks that is what I like. And then it pushes, 100 more stories about that. So is the algorithm really studying me? No, it is not. Because I want to learn what is the technological advancement. That is my passion. But just because I stop on a Bollywood or a Hollywood, some star, some movies coming up, it thinks, oh, that is what I like. And then it'll give me more feeds on that. So that is a way, that is a gap that still exists in the technology. And recently I did a talk on into one of the institutions who are the management students from liba, who are focused on the HR function. Now in that I was talking about how the application of AI in HR. Now what is that they are doing? They're trying to digitize some of the process. So I keep telling, automation doesn't mean losing job. This is the first myth that you need to overcome. What is automation doing? Automation is simply, it's automating mundane processes which is taking over human laborious time in doing that particular task. It's a menial task which can be efficiently delivered by a machine. So that's why I always say automation and simplification of process means it's increased productivity and efficiency, reduction in cost, value and impact to the business, and standardization of process specific to the business needs, which also ensures there's the regulation policy, everything is taken into account. And most important, the human intelligence can be used for doing something phenomenal things in this world. So why are we wasting the talent in trying to make them do the laborious laborious tasks? So that is what automation is all about. And the digital transformation or digitizing means you're moving from an analog to a digital world. An example, simple example could be, earlier in the newspaper industry, we have to go and manually, they have to have those, just example, the paper, they had this dimension, the news has to fit in, and they would have to be doing everything manually. But now they're just digitized it. All I just need to go is type. That's all they have done. So it's not a great thing. So it's about how you look at why this digital transformation is required, or why automation is important. And so the next example I want to call out is in China, in Beijing. This is the one first kind of a restaurant which is fully automated, and they have robots which is doing the waitress job. Okay, and if you look at right from the refrigerator to the kitchen, everything is integrated. The system, the complete system, everything is powered by AI. They have very well defined the algorithms. So what does it do? Right from the stock check in the refrigerator, how much food that is there, example, how much chicken, how much whatever the different butter, cheese, everything, it's done a stock check. So the moment you start consuming, it's just tracking, and then it is letting you know beyond a certain level, when the stock is less, it already gives a trigger saying that okay, now you need to replace it, replenish, you have to go buy and replenish, because this is the stock we have, this is what is left, and today this is the amount of food we will be consuming. So those are the kinds. And then the kitchen is automated. The method of everything is they have integrated the robots who is going to perform those functions. It is phenomenal. They have invested billions of dollars in making this completely automated restaurant where everything is taken care. The hygiene factor, how do you store food? You must go watch that video. That is a breakthrough. So why am I calling these things out is because today that is what it means. So why should we laboriously try to do? But the human intelligence can be capitalized for something bigger and bigger. And that's the way the world is heading towards. And that is the transformation we are seeing, and that is the disruption we are also experiencing. And thanks to pandemic has made it possible than ever before. And the last thing that I would want to call it out is also the smart cities. See, I worked extensively in the Singapore government and public sector on driving the Smart Nation initiatives for many years. And I'll tell you one very interesting thing. One of the reasons why I want to call this out, and in India, what is happening, and why I'm so passionate about giving back to my country, my world, is because, look, if you take Singapore is even smaller than the size of Bangalore. So very small. Yes, anything is possible, and with the kind of investments and it attracts foreign talent, because Singapore is known to be the hub where it becomes a regional headquarter for a lot of businesses. So they established Singapore as a APAC regional headquarter. And also, if you look at Singapore GDP is 80% from the port that they get. So what are they trying to do? See, in Singapore, everything is imported. Why is Singapore becoming like a very structured, very organized city? Is simply because the most important thing that they focused primarily is their infrastructure. So in infrastructure, they've already established the infrastructure, and on top of it, they can do a lot of things that happen. I'll tell you, I work with Land Transport Authority of Singapore, the MRT system. So the solution that they developed for the MRT system was phenomenal. So, and that was used, they developed it using IBM technologies, okay, both the software and hardware technologies. And what we suggested to them at that point is, form a wholly owned subsidiary, and we can commercialize the solution and, take it, go to market globally. And my job was to make that happen. So they commercialized it, and I was instrumental in taking that solution globally. So Dublin, Ireland, we won. They implemented that solution there. Manila MRT was my last project until I worked with IBM. Bangkok BRT, then also because it was a payment gateway solution, two big banks in Indonesia, Bank Mandiri and Bank Nagara, Indonesia, won that fantastic deal. Now, what does it all mean? It means you need that passion to make it happen. And that is why I always talk about anything that you do. If Singapore government was able to address their own MRT system in a successful manner, we need to be able to scale and take it to market globally. So it means it can fit into many other markets. That is what I call about. And today in India, we all have to, campaign to make India a great place. You know what? We have the brain power. I'm telling you this, globally, if you take all the top companies, it's an Indian who's leading it. You take the big banks, we have a financial brain. And if you take a Monetary Authority of Singapore head is Ravi Menon, the DBS CEO is a Indian. Sorry, I don't remember the name. Likewise, other many leaders. You see, Indians are there all over. But today we need to, do something for India, and we have to make India, in par with all of these countries where the advancements have really evolved massively. And I don't dispute the fact that we can't compare 1.3 billion population with a small with a small country base, whatever the number of how small our country is, but with so much highly populated. But that's what will make it happen. We need to start now. If you don't start now, then how are we going to evolve and be ahead as a developed nation? When is it that going to be possible? So you and I have to take this challenge in our hands and make the difference, not just to ourselves, but to the country, to the organization, to the people, and the society at large. So with that, I stop here, and I know I've taken a little extra time, and I'll open up for the Q&A.
Well, thanks, Rajashree. In fact, it was great. Actually, it shows your passion as well, and with your tons of experience which you have, what you shared today, the use cases, the different innovation principles, the types of innovations which you spoke about. Thanks for that. In fact, I also not want to waste any time. I see there are quite a few questions. I hope we have enough time to respond to them. Let me get on to them. So there's a question from, I see there are around 10 questions, Rajashree. So the first one is from Harshal Bhave, and he's asking, what is your opinion on differentiating innovation versus continuous improvement, and how do I manage both in my organization?
Okay. Very good question. See, the continuous improvement is what I spoke about in incremental innovation. So where you're actually constantly enhancing and bettering your product, solution, and something, right? But innovation means, how do you bring a complete twist to what has already been done? See, this is what you have done that for many years. Your company has that legacy system. But how could you bring, the four things? You always keep this four objective that I called out: increase productivity and efficiency, reduction in cost, value and impact to the business, and standardization is though. At least these three things you always need to bear it in your mind, and that difference is what you need to bring to your company. Like, say, if you are working in a certain set of, say your solution is doing an X amount of work today, it should be able to deliver in Y, means X to the power of whatever 10 it has to be able to deliver. So that is what you have to always look at, that leap it has to take. If it's not making that leap, then please understand, then you're not going anywhere. You're still there where you are, but the world is skyrocketing in how they are evolving.
Right. So the next one, though the name is not visible, but the question is again a little related to the first one. Talking about innovation, AI seems to be taking jobs in a lot of areas. Example, coding or in finance. What kind of skill sets should we aim in long term for the same? Will ethics, this is very relevant actually, will ethics philosophy be more in demand since machines don't have that capability?
Very, very good question. In my perspective, yeah, it will not take your job. And this is a myth that is being talked by people. Like I already gave you a very clear understanding. What is automation going to do? It's only simplifying the process. It's only going to automate the mundane processes where the human intelligence have to be capitalized for doing something bigger and greater. Okay. Now that's number
Right.
one. The number two is, see, like I told you today, yeah, people are creating different things. An example, so if I ask that the OPT3, the GPT-3, right, come up with a story, it's going to give me a story. But can I not use my more creative talent to come up with, enhance that story, adding to its my own creativity? That's how I look at it. So it's not still taking my job, okay? It's only making me a little more lazy, but because it's making me, not think too much. It's let him, no, but never let that happen. But I'm just saying, so that's an option. It's a very minor thing. I don't think it's taking your job at all. But yes, what you asked on the ethical bit is, yes, the world today are looking at the ethical framework. So if you take, I'll tell you, Rolls Royce is now, we are championing AI ethical framework. So in one of the AI summit in London, our CEO announced how we will make this ethical framework available. So they have been working on, how do you have an AI ethics and trusted AI, right? Now they have worked on this for long years. They have done a lot of research, and then we have also worked with some of the industry partners and in testing it. So they're going to make this available. The ethical AI is what is going to be the future, and we have to go as per that framework. And once that gets standardized, then I'm sure the world will have to follow that. But that's still it will take some time by the time we get there.
Mm-hmm. Sure. The next one is from Sushant Mahapatro, and he's asking, how do we think outside the box and what frameworks can we utilize?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. Thinking outside the box is something you have to. Okay, I'll tell you one very simple thing. Okay, this is more from my spiritual side, which my preceptor will always teach us. Right, we have never trained our mind to forward thinking. We've always limited. See, there's, you need to understand, mind has a phenomenal power. It is limitless, but we are
Right.
the ones who are putting the limitation. Because why? We have never trained our mind to think like that in a futuristic manner.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a hard thing, or it's not something that you can't achieve. All you need to do is you have to start practicing. I'll give you a very simple example. I was watching a very fantastic video by Elon Musk. How does Elon Musk, how is such a genius? What makes him, come up with such companies? Some some of the uh, earth-shattering stuff that he does. And in that, I learned, what is the traits that they observe. Two important things I'll call out. One is Elon Musk starts with knowledge. See, he doesn't care about the formal education. And you need to understand, Elon Musk says the education system is redundant now. It's doing no good to anybody. So he started his own school for his kids. Okay. And the next thing he did was, when he wanted to start the SpaceX company, he went and studied about the Soviet the satellite, the space, or he took those big books. He went to the library, he got those books, and he started studying about it. First he gathered knowledge, and the next thing he did is he went and moved. I told you this example. He went and shifted to LA, and over there he set up his base, and then he started connecting with the industry people. Why LA? Simply because that is where all the space exploration, space inventions, everything was happening. So he made a network of all the experts. So you need those experts to mentor you, guide you, and then you start learning. So this is a self effort. You have to empower yourself in that direction. And that is when you can, in the future, your mind will be powered. I would say it's powered, to think ahead and think out of the box. But this comes with a lot of hard work and a lot of time you have to invest in yourself.
Right, right. So the other day I was listening to Kunal Shah's interview. Kunal Shah, the founder of Cred and Free Charge. So he was talking about an instance. In fact, it's a culture rather. Uh, in a Gujarati household, if families meet, the question they ask is, "What is new?" Don't talk about what is there, what has been happening, what you have been doing. What is new? Right? So they say that in us maybe that's the culture of forward thinking, that what is that extra mile or the extra thing which we can do. Thanks for that response.
I'd just like to add one more point. And
Yeah.
when I was watching this very interesting how China has established this automated restaurant, you must go take a look at it. It's phenomenal. And in that, there is this one researcher from Germany, from Berlin University. She's sitting there to research on that. And in that, they say that we now follow a 9 plus 9 plus 6. What does it mean?
Mhm.
Earlier, they used to work 7 days, 12 or long hours, all the 7 days, but now they have adapted 9 to 9, 6 days a week.
Wow.
But imagine how hardworking they are. And believe me, I've been to China. I've experienced this in real time. Extremely hardworking people.
Absolutely.
It's you who have to develop that. Nobody's going to come and give it to you from outside. That is why I always say it's about self-empowerment. And
Mhm.
even this word empowerment is a very abused word. I'm not going to touch on that. There is nobody who can empower you from outside. You have to empower your own self.
Yourself, correct. All right. So there are some interesting questions from Tejas. Tejas is asking, can you explain the term legacy system in a little bit detail in context of a startup, and the terms retrofitting and interoperable in context of startups?
Okay, I'll give you a very simple example. Um, I'm not taking, say, you take a company, right? Okay, manufacturing industry. I'll take a BMW. Now, BMW has how they started manufacturing the cars. They had a legacy system, right? How they first started up, the different processes. And over a period of time, they have also evolved to that. So I'm saying this because I've been to their plant. I'm very passionate about learning it in real time. So that's the only way can you understand how to apply technology and all. So you have to have the passion to go and understand how the system works. So when I went to BMW manufacturing plant, I was awed. So they have more robots, 1,400 robots, which does everything in 2 shifts. Okay. Now everything is so automated. It's perfect. When you see, you will be awed. And when I came and narrated all of these things, very excited. See, I forgot to, in that passion of seeing a car, how the entire car is being manufactured, I lost to learn some of the things. But I recorded those whole beautiful. You're not allowed to take pictures or anything, right? So it's a very highly confidential sort of type
Correct.
of industry visit. So when I came back, my preceptor asked me a very interesting question. He said, okay, you said everything is automated, everything is so seamlessly done, but aren't they manufacturing the same number of cars every day? So then, what is that they have done a break, the earth shattering? Then it actually made me ask that, oh wow, I never thought through this. So you said they manufacture 1,000 cars in a day.
Mhm.
They have 1,400 robots, which is working in 2 shifts. So there are only few people who are there who again work in shifts where it is a certain task which is only human intervention. One would be managing these robots, ensuring that the system is on, triggered off, and managing all the system. And secondly, there are certain things only you have to do it manually. So those are the things where they have human beings who are experts in that field who handle those tasks. Now then the question of, then what is the difference? Why can't, if you have such an automated system, why not 1,000 more cars, 2,000? Why is the number
Right.
not growing? That is where I understood, oh my god, yeah, I never thought through that point. Then what is that they're automated? That is, so this is called a legacy system that is there, which is enhanced. Now
Right.
obviously I only could see 2.5 hours was my visit, but that was the burning question. But if I have to go back and do an analysis, then I'll understand what are the legacy system that is there, which is still not
Mhm.
transformed. And then those legacy systems you have to enhance, which means now if I am able to achieve manufacturing 1,000 cars, I should be able to, with the latest retrofitting. The retrofitting is if I can add some of the latest to that, I should be able to manufacture at least 500 more cars in a day. That is called improving productivity and efficiency, cost reduction, and value and impact to the business. And that is how you need to look at innovation. Now, you said specifically in terms of a startup. Now, the startup that I'm saying is, you see, the startups have a very unique idea. I'm sorry, I'm a little frustrated with the way of how startups think. They say we are the risk taker, we have the appetite of risk. Oh, please. Out of India has 42, I don't know, 55,000 startups now, out of which only 72,000 startups are deep tech. In that deep tech, I will only want to work with the creme de la creme, only 100. You know why? Because nobody's thinking out of the box. They want to come and build something for some small market or business and say, I want to make that money. I want to get my pound of flesh. With that attitude, you cannot grow anywhere. That is why 99% of the startups fail today, because they don't have the power. You take Elon Musk, he has Tesla, he has SpaceX, he has Starlink, he has OpenAI, you name the company, and everything is doing something earth shattering. That is what you have to think, like that. And don't come and say your solution will fit and address a minor problem. It has to solve a major problem. So
Right.
retrofit means, don't say remove this system, it is redundant. Say how your solution can become interoperable with that and impact the business to or grow the business more than what it is today.
Sure. So another related question from Abhigyan Basu. In fact, I see still around 7 questions left. Probably, we'll pass it on to you. So Abhigyan is asking, how would you make or how would you go about making an innovation and then deciding midway that it's not the best solution?
Okay. Not every innovation is successful.
Absolutely.
Okay. The most important thing you need to understand, whenever you're journeying, it's not about, see, we all plan for success. This is one thing you need to get it in your heart very well. Don't bother about whether you succeed or whether you fail. When you go with that, you just plan with an attitude that I want to succeed. Okay. But what happens is not known to us. You go,
Right.
of course, everybody is doing some innovation thinking that I'm going to make a difference. Sometimes things doesn't work. It's okay to fail, but don't stop there. Move on and do something bigger. So when you worry about failing, then you're never going to innovate.
Absolutely. And as a startup founder, you always have to keep in mind, you have to learn to fail as well. You can't say that, no, I love this idea, this is the best product. You fall in love with the product and then you can't take the failure. That never works.
Yeah, one more point to add to that, right? What Sudeep is saying. See, failure is part of life, okay?
Absolutely.
And I have failed. I have learned the hard way a lot of things in my life, but that doesn't stop me. The one thing that I stopped doing in my life, you know what? I don't run after success. I'm not running after getting my name, fame, recognition. What has to come. But what comes my way, I give my best shot. Today I focus on learning, and that's something I began. And it's better late than never. Let me tell you. I'll give you a very simple example. This is my own life story. One of my mentors made fun of me, saying that, I was in IBM. I was doing Marcom. So I was doing an analysis with the regional general manager, the head of India, Southeast Asia. To him, every morning I have to be in office at 6:30 a.m. because he will come to office at 8:30. So I have to finish my entire analysis and it has to reach his table by 8:30 a.m. So 6:30 a.m. I would be in office. You know what? He's taught me one very powerful thing. I was too young, just early in my career. When one day he said, you're wanted on a Saturday. Okay. I'm somewhere outside. I'm like, you're wanted. I said, hello, I just can't come now. I'm somewhere outside. Sorry. So the first thing on Monday morning, I was called to his office. I sat there and he told me, you know what? I need you to do this. I said, I don't understand a word of what the business means. How am I going to do? You know what he said? Initially, you will find it difficult. Start doing. And then if you're sinking, I'll pull you up. I will guide you through the process. That was one powerful lesson I learned. And in the initial days, yes, I would give him some, and he had to do more work with my analysis. But as things picked up, finally, after 3 months, he calls me and says, you can now directly send this because you already have got how to do it. But that is the strength he gave me. He never said I will fail. Yeah, he said, yeah, it's okay. You might make mistakes, but I will point it out to you and you can learn. The attitude to learn is very important. And the next very important thing is you need to have the right skill. People with the same passion and skills are very important. And that's why I gave the example of Elon Musk. You need to get the experts with you.
True. And with that, Rajashree, we are at the top of the hour. I still have some questions, and we will make a note of those questions and probably pass it on to you. And thank you so much. This was really, I would say, a fiery session for us. Lots to talk about. I wish it was 1.5 hour session. With that, I would also like to thank all the participants for staying back and asking your questions. And stay tuned for the next masterclass. Thank you, Rajashree, from KTech COE Center of Excellence, Data Science and Artificial Intelligence. We thank everyone, and you have a good rest of the day.
Thank you, Sudeep. Thank you, Supriya. Thank you, everyone, KTech, NASSCOM, all of you for this wonderful opportunity. You can connect me with me on LinkedIn. More than happy to answer the rest of the questions as well. And looking forward to many more such sessions in the future.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, sir.